out here, be sure to share with your friends, share with your community. And yeah, we're about to get started. So I know Zoolana is actually there. They only got like an hour, right? So we gotta get gotta get going with them.
Yeah, we've actually got a development meeting in an hour, so jumping for a good reason, I promise.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, guys, but we'll just get started for now, and then we'll just let other people roll in as we go. So just to start, we are 3D Gamers Guild. I'm Painboy, and this is a crypto gaming spaces I host generally 2 to 3 times a week, and I'm here to showcase great crypto games in the space, see what they're building, see what they're up to, ask them some good questions for you guys so you can learn about them, and then we can open up the floor for AMA for anyone. So essentially, we're just here for you guys, help you guys learn about projects, also help me learn about some of these projects because, yeah, there's a lot going on out there. I just love bringing people on the show to really just meet the founders and see what they're doing out here. So, yeah, no, let's just go ahead and start. We got a Zoolana here. We got Flip Game. We got Glyphbound, and then we have one more project who is coming soon. I believe I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but we'll see when they're here. And no, the first thing we always start with out here is the intro. So you guys want to just give us all a 3-minute intro about your project. Basically high level, like if you guys have minted, definitely let us know that. But just basics of the gameplay and what you guys are about.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. So our project is Zoolana. What we're building is a mobile 4X strategy game with NFT exportable assets. And um, 4X gaming has been exploding on mobile, but some people are still not familiar with what that describes as a genre. And pretty much 4X games are similar to Clash of Clans, and the genre has kind of developed over the years into other games like Infinity Kingdom, Rise of Kingdoms. There's a few others, but basically the idea is that you build up a base, you train your troops, you upgrade your troops, you go to battle, and then you bring your export this from the game, and I can sell it, or I can borrow against it, or whatever it is that you might want to do to access the value in that asset. So that's kind of the high level goals for what we're building here at Zoolana. A key component of the game is going to be also the social integration. So for us, we really look to games like Clash of Clans as an inspiration. Their ability to connect people and to give people an opportunity to play together and push each other to do better in the game is something that we really want to mimic. So social integration and clan integration is going to be a huge thing for us. And inherent in that are going to be a lot of different ways that playing socially affects the game, including economically. So you'll actually be able to craft with the people in your clan and share resources amongst each other. Um, and there's a whole lot of potential among the social element of a game like Zoolana. So that's kind of a general overview of the product that we're building. The team is small right now, but it's recently expanded to include the development studio that's building the game with us. Um, so myself and my co-founder Didi, my handle is Brick. Didi is here as dd80.soul in the space. We are running the project. We both have backgrounds in the startup world or in finance, and including in competitive gaming. So I am nationally ranked in the card game Hearthstone, and Didi has been the server leader in War and Order for like a period of a few months. War and Order is a similar 4X strategy game to the game that we're building. So no strangers to games and to game design. And yeah, really excited for the next few months.
Yeah, love that you guys are. Well, you're a competitive player. Definitely love to see that. And in terms of like the development studio, how many people are you guys like? How many people does that studio have? And like, will those people all be like working for you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the studio right now has like I believe somewhere in 300, 400 employees in total. Um, the way that development works is that what you start off with a core team, and then as the design of the game is set in stone, that's when you ramp up to have like a whole army under you. So within the next few months, we're going to have like 20 plus people developing the game. But right now, the team is around three. So we're starting from like the core basics of what are the systems at play? How do those systems interact? Okay, maybe now we know the systems. What are the numbers behind those? How many different characters are there? How many different pieces of equipment are there? Um, these core questions, the elementary questions, you don't actually need an enormous team working on those. You actually need like one person whose vision can like kind of be crystallized and clearly turned into something real. So right now the team is relatively small, but as the design is finalized, it's going to ramp up and turn into kind of a monster.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of how I envision the process to work, and yeah, it makes sense. It's like you get the map roadmap out, and then you have to do all like the heavy lift.
Yes, exactly.
Cool stuff. Yeah, much appreciated, Zoolana. And Meta League, our fourth speaker is up here, guys. So no, shout out to Meta League. And let's just move to no flip game right now. These are some guys I met actually at the Hacker House in Austin, and they have a really cool, fun game element going on. So just wanted to get an intro for those who don't know them.
Yeah, for sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
Let me just make sure.
yeah,
Awesome. Okay. All right, awesome. So I'm Chris from Flip, and just gonna talk a little bit about our gameplay and also some of the mechanics behind it. At its core and at its foundation, Flip is just a card matching game, right? So it's really similar to games like Cards Against Humanity, What Do You Meme, Apples to Apples, all those fun games where you have a prompt card and then a reply card that you can play with your friends and family and etc. However, we've actually taken that concept and we've added some extra tech on the back end to really bring it to the blockchain. And essentially, what we're doing here is we're taking a P2E game or a play to earn game, and we've stacked it on top of some fintech services that we've created, right? And one of our goals with that was to create a real fun to play and easy to play matching game, but to actually provide real utility or use case to NFTs. And so the way NFTs kind of incorporate into our gameplay mechanics is that, or the analogy I would use is if you went to go and play Cards Against Humanity, but half of the deck was actually empty. And so now the users and the players and the community surrounding this game, surrounding Flip, are actually the ones who get to come up with these custom cards. And so as a player in Flip, you have the opportunity, completely optional, to go ahead and actually mint your card, your joke, as an NFT. And so when you come up with a custom NFT that you can mint in our platform, you are actually able to claim ownership over that NFT, right? And so the protocols on the back end that govern that system are actually pretty awesome. And essentially, what we're doing again is providing that real, like, use case scenario to NFTs where you can claim ownership over something and then actually get rewarded for doing so. And so that second aspect is the P2E aspect where it's play to earn. And so anytime someone plays the game, the more often the game is played, and more specifically, the more often your card in the deck is played, you earn rewards, and those rewards can be liquidated in the form of cryptocurrency. So now we have this kind of cake almost of how in depth you want to get into our game. And so if you're a casual player and you just want to play this funny card matching game with your friends, you could go ahead and do that. And you don't need to know anything about cryptocurrency to play, right? So the game is going to be hosted on your internet browser, for example. You don't need a D app. You don't even need a cryptocurrency wallet to play, right? We have the Magic Protocol integrated, which would create a new custom and secure wallet for anyone who signs up for the game, right? So at its base level, easy game, right? But then when you start to go into the back end, we have the NFT minting platform, right, which lets a user actually come in and now dictate how they want to mint their NFT, how many they want to mint, etc. We have not minted yet. We are aiming for a mid-April mint. So we are rolling out our whitelist at the time. And then in the back end, on top of the play to earn aspects, on top of the NFT governance aspects, we also have a DAO aspect where the players in the game and the people who own the cards in the deck now actually have an opportunity to govern the status of the game, to govern what cards are going to be allowed or not allowed in the deck. And then as gameplay occurs, it's the community that dictates the popularity of the cards that can upvote or downvote other cards out of the deck, for example. And so really there's a lot of going on in the back end, but on the front end, it's really just a fun, easy to play NFT matching game with rewards, and it's PTE as well.
Cool. Yeah. So, one thing these guys are doing also is it's like a Cards Against Humanity game, but they are doing a Discord integration. So I definitely think it would be really fun to have that in my own Discord. Very social game to where you're just making jokes with everyone in your Discord. It's definitely something we're looking forward to as well. And yeah, appreciate you sharing that. I'm honestly a little bit confused on the entire how the P to E side works. But for the sake of time, we'll go over that a little more in the next question. So we'll get back to you. And yeah, let's bring up Glyphbound. You guys want to give us a quick 3-minute intro on what you guys are doing out here?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks a lot for hosting me and for inviting us on here. Yeah, I'm representing, I guess, Kayak Multimedia, which is my company behind Glyphbound, and another couple games in production. But yeah, Glyphbound is our leading product. It is, I guess, to boil it down to just a sentence, it's an RPG, and it will be an MMORPG, although we're building out in stages. Based with our very much influenced by the old Pokemon games, but the gameplay and the combat is a lot more like Final Fantasy Tactics. So it's turn-based, kind of on a grid with different units, multiple units on a team, similar to, for example, Fire Emblem as well, or XCOM. There's a lot of people that have played those games as well. But it also, combines an open world. One of the things, I grew up playing Pokemon, and you can't, you don't fix what's not broken. They're a multi-billion-dollar industry, but they do focus on a younger crowd, and I think they leave a gap in the market for some older gamers that grew up with Pokemon and want a bit of more, deeper gameplay, a little bit more complex, a little bit more difficult. And now with play to earn mechanics, essentially, it brings in real world value into the game. How we are implementing our NFTs will be through the PvP, online PvP combat that we're developing on Unity, which we hope to have later in Q2. Although we do have a single player demo already available through our Discord. So yeah, we plan to have wager matches, PvP tournaments, all of which where you'll be able to earn our in-game token. and then you'll be able to trade it with other players and mint more of our NFTs to be integrated into the game. So, for example, we've already done 2 mints with our base token, which is Kayak. And so people have been able to mint the character slots that are actually used to play in the game, as well as these noodles, NFT pixelated noodles collection that we have, which is essentially just for fun, but it will unlock more quests and cosmetics in game.
Cool. So it sounds like it's like a Pokemon game, but instead of just pure Pokemon battle, it's actually Final Fantasy Tactics type. So it's like maybe like a 3-on-3 with like a map scenario, and you can like hop around, use your strategies, but then there's going to be like strengths and weaknesses, kind of like Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have 3 versus 3 at the team right now. And the Battleground, it's isometric. So it's got the slanted view, and you take turns, based on the stats of your units. Some might be faster, some might be better at physical attacks, or we call them ethereal when they're not physical. So yeah, each unit will have different stats, and we're starting out with the first a single player demo, but right now after that we've moved on now to the online PvP. So we'll deploy that first, and then from there, once that because the combat is the core of the game, and it's where a lot of the play to earn happens. So and then once that is in place, then we'll be expanding out from there into the actual online, massively multiplayer overworld.
Got it. That's cool. Love to hear it. And then let's get on to Meta League. I know these guys are dope. Actually started by an ex NFL player himself. So Meta League. You guys want to give us a go? Tell us what you guys about.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How's it going? What's up, Pain Boy?
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
I'm good, bro. Happy to have you on here.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, so this kind of all was started with I had a vision of basically how can a lot of people I grew up with gaming, they weren't really into sports games, and they would like games like Rocket League and stuff. And I've been a gamer since I was a little kid, like 5 years old. You can name it: World of Warcraft, Apex Legends, like Warzone, any RPG, MMORG, like shooters. Like I played just about every game. On top of that, I was fortunate enough to be able to play football. But it gave me a platform, and basically gave me this idea of how can I bring non-sports people and sports people together, right? So I came up with a concept of basically creating a game where it's like, I don't know if you guys ever played Madden Street or Madden Blitz, but it would be more futuristic with like power-ups. You score a touchdown, lightning might not come down from the sky, a 7-on-7 league, and basically incorporate like a conference room, meet and greet room for professional athletes that are in my network. Basically, personal real estate people can buy, where you have your own locker room and you'll be able to show off your badass character, your actual. So our avatars are the actual avatars you're going to be. Our NFTs are the actual NFTs you'll be able to use in the game when it's built. And so you'll be able to see these in the locker room on like a little podium, and put all your Solana NFTs up in the locker room. So it's divided into 5 factions. It's human, robot, cyborg, alien, and undead, right? So when you mint, you're going to get one of those 5 factions. So for me, I really wanted to make a competitive aspect of it. So there's going to be 4 captains on every team. So you potentially commit a captain. There's going to be certain roles on every team. And so we'll eventually divide the Discord up, and we'll just make it super competitive, and basically do top performers, top teams. Like, we're going to get awards. And our developers, who we're going to be working with, they've had a successful launch. We kind of wanted to wait a little bit before we mention who they are, but they have a successful game out right now, and they're doing very, very well. So we're going to be learning a lot from them. and mistakes they make. For me, I've kind of learned in this. I've been in crypto for over 2 years, and got into the NFT space not crazy long ago, but what I've kind of learned from them is like, find someone almost like a big brother, right? That you can learn from their mistakes, like from anything that they're doing, tokenomics, anything they could do different. You might be able to do it from the start differently, and it's going to help your project so much more. And the cool thing about what we're doing is eventually we want to integrate more factions, collab with other projects. I don't know. I was talking to another project. They had these dwarfs. I can't remember the name of the project. They minted out. And it was like, oh, well, what if we did like a dwarf faction, put these dwarf heads, 3D render heads on these badass armor bodies and use them in the sports football game. We wanted to name it Blockchain Blitz, the game itself, but that game is that's an actual token right now. So we're going to have to alter that a little bit. We are Meta League Sports Collection. I mean, we're starting with football, and the goal is to grow and do multiple sports. And just make it more fun, man. Like, there's a reason why everyone likes Rocket League. You don't even have to like sports to play Rocket League. Just making it more of a competitive nature that everyone can play and enjoy and have fun with their friends.
Cool. Love to hear it. Yeah, no, they're doing like a kind of like a twist onto like an NFL Madden Blitz game on the blockchain. Very, very interested to see what these guys are pulling out here. Definitely got us good hands. Definitely, competitive, smart guys out there. But yeah, just wanted to know for the sake of time, we will be moving to Zoolana again, and really, this is just for more of a gameplay and then a roadmap side of things. Zoolana, just want to go a little more deep on your gameplay and essentially know what you guys are like planning to get things out by.
Yeah, awesome. So the roadmap as it exists right now is for a playable beta by the end of this year, and then the full game release by mid 2023. So that's the roadmap as it exists. I can go more in depth into gameplay. Is there a side of gameplay that you're curious about, or that you feel like I should maybe focus on?
Yeah, maybe like you guys are called Zoolana, so like, are we going to be like playing with animals or something?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. So one of the things that we're most excited about behind this game is the story that we've written. So Didi and I put a lot of time into the story, and we're really building like a whole uh, intellectual property here. This is like there's a whole fictional world to Zoolana, and that's like one of the things that resonates the most with our community. So the story here is that a few hundred years into the future, the world's wealthiest kind of retreat to the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and build themselves a safe haven in the mountains. And they're there for years with incredibly advanced technology and AI. And their technology advances so far to the point where they have no material needs anymore. Um, so they need something to do. And to keep themselves occupied, they build this coliseum and then have animals fight against each other. And what they've done is they've modified these animals to be humanoid animals. So it's like a coliseum from ancient Rome, but now set hundreds of years in the future. So over time, this coliseum runs, and the animals eventually escape. They're called Zanis. So these humanoid animals, we have an elephant, a bear, a tiger, a rhino, and a monkey. They take over the city, and then subsequently take over the whole Zoolana Valley in the mountains. So the characters themselves are going to be these 5 animal species, alongside other Zani heroes that we have yet to announce. And you'll play as these animal characters in the game. So if you think of the heroes in Clash of Clans, or honestly any game where you might be familiar with heroes, League of Legends, the hero characters are going to be these humanoid animals. So concept art for these characters is featured on our Alpha Edition NFTs, which I didn't mention before, but we've minted out 2 different variations of the Alpha Edition so far. And you can see there, we've had concept art done by the studio Polar Engine for these characters. So these guys have done art for League of Legends, actually, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, Smite, Legends of Runeterra, and yeah, and so they did the concept art for our characters as well. So Yes, you'll be playing as these animals and going to town on your opponents with swipes and jump attacks and large chomps. That's the vision here.
Cool. And then in terms of like the animals, like can you play as like all five animals, or are you just choosing like one faction?
So as we're imagining it right now, you're going to start by playing with one. Um, okay, do you start with one faction? So for the most part, we're not picturing Zanis to be faction locked. So Zoolana is split into three tribes. We have a tech tribe, we have a nature tribe, and then we kind of have like a chemical mutation tribe. And the design for the game, as we're building it out right now, is that each of the tribes is going to play a little differently. But for the most part, every hero will be playable for every tribe. We're playing with the idea of having like an exclusive, like maybe for the tribe that lives in the mountains, there's like a snow leopard hero specifically for them. Um, but we're not quite at the point where we're making that decision yet, and it kind of complicates things a little bit in terms of balance and in terms of the asset itself. So nothing set in stone on that front. As it is right now, almost every hero character
Cool.
should be playable for every tribe.
To be clear, there's going to be like bases of like Clash of Clans, where you'll have like your little zoo base, maybe have some trees, plants.
Yeah, so the way we're picturing it right now is you are going to actually play versus like the squad, your opponent's squad. So over as you play the game more and as you level up, you'll actually be able to use more characters at one time. But we're picturing having uh like normal base units. Maybe you think of them as minions that are not player controlled, and then heroes that are player controlled. And you're going to be playing versus an opponent who's doing the same thing on their end.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool and interesting, to be honest. And I just linked just something we saw from Zoolana's Twitter, which I think is core to every single play, crypto game. Essentially, is they have there you use your resources, you upgrade your heroes, you go into battle, and then you make rewards, right? And then you use those rewards actually to upgrade, to use those rewards to get more resources, to then upgrade your stuff again, to battle again, to get even higher rewards, and then you get more resources, so on and so forth. And then I think this is like such an important note in crypto games, because like right now, we saw with the Axie praise is that there wasn't really much upgrading going on. And I think for any crypto game that really wants to be sustainable, you need to have a reason for people to be putting money back into the economy just to
Mm-hmm.
further the game, versus just them farming a little bit and then taking the money out. Yeah, I think with Axie we noticed it's like once you have three Axies, you can pretty much just play the game, make SLP. You don't really need to upgrade anything unless you want to get more Axies, right? So that was the issue there. So yeah, I like their concept here. I think they're really thinking through the economy, and it's really in line with at least how I envision future crypto games to be. So hats off to Zulana. Um, and
Awesome. Appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, and then let's go to flip game. Yeah, could you guys give me a little better rundown of how the I guess the crypto gaming side of things works? Because yeah, from I my understanding is Cards of Against Humanity sounds really cool. There's going to be a Discord bot that you can play with all your friends on Discord. Like we can play it as a guild, and I just want to know um, how the NFT side works a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the biggest thing on the NFT side is, remember, we said that at its face value, Flip is a fun card game, but really it's the protocols and the tech behind it, actual fintech, that drive the game and also allow it to be scalable to different communities and different locations. Like you said, that Flip Discord bot, it's actually playable now, so you can literally go into the Flip Discord and play it now and try it out and kind of see how it works. And as far as the NFTs, the way that works is it's actually powered by a NFT Genesis platform that we created in house. And what that protocol does is it manages the ability for someone playing the game to go in and custom mint an NFT. So one of the things that you see about the current situation in NFT utilities, and I'm not going to say it's a problem in the space, but it's definitely the most common way people measure NFT value, is based off of things like rarity, off of limitations to the availability of the NFTs, different traits or assets that your NFT might get, right? And when a community member goes to mint that NFT, it's kind of a randomized process, the level of rarity of their NFT or how valuable it might be to the rest of the community. And there's no real additional input or say in your ability to participate in that NFT valuing process. Here it's actually different. So the NFT Genesis platform allows anyone to go in, basically, you receive a voucher, a credit to go and mint an NFT, and it allows anyone to go into our site and then now custom mint their own NFT of a card. So if I have a joke that I think is really funny, that works really well in this Cards Against Humanity stylized gameplay, I can go and mint that NFT. So it's literally like a intellectual property ownership aspect, right? Now, when I go and mint that NFT into the platform, it gets added to the deck, and the DAO governance system that we have in place allows the DAO and the community to dictate which cards are popular, to dictate which cards are allowed in the deck. And one of the things that I think is going to be really fun with that is essentially we invite the degenerates to the platform, right? So I imagine that the deck is actually going to get pretty funny and also maybe, a little raunchy, and also, it's totally up to the community how they want to dictate the deck as a whole. And the NFT Genesis platform that builds that is basically what lets you go in and custom mint an NFT off of whatever you want, right? So it's completely unique. And now your NFTs aren't valued based off of something like rarity or something like that, but they're actually valued off of their success in the game. So the more popular your card is, the funnier you are as a person, rewards you in that PTE aspect. So you get rewarded when your card is played, you get rewarded when your card wins. Um, it's a really interesting thing to see because that completely changes how NFTs are valued in our gaming aspect, right? And then one of the other things to consider is like, even if you aren't that funny, even if you don't have like the best sense of humor, right? We'll also have pre-populated or pre-generated cards in the deck. And if you like one of those cards and they haven't been minted yet, you can actually go and pull a card from our deck and claim ownership over it and say, actually, I want to keep that one as my card. I want to mint it so that I own it. And then now when that card gets played, I get paid, right? And that's the P to E aspect, right? The more players that we get, the larger the rewards are in gameplay, the greater rewards are in that P to E aspect. As far as the governance system that dictates the rewards, it's actually split into a dual currency system. So the first part is the DAO token, which governs the actual deck, which allows total ownership over the game by the community. And then the second aspect is the P to E token, which are actually where the rewards get paid out in that in-game currency.
Okay, so this is what I'm understanding. You can mint an NFT, and it's a custom NFT, so you can really put whatever you want on there, and it really rewards, the comedians, the just the funny people out here who can really, go out and showcase how fun, how like showcase their own humor, and see how people like them. And is there like going to be a limit to those NFTs?
In terms of like overall quantity,
Yeah.
yeah, so basically what we're starting off with is a ratio of there's two cards in game. There's the prompt card, which is the pink card in our game, and there is the reply card, which is a white card in our game. And now your prompt cards, which are the question cards, are actually going to be a little more valuable. And so the ratio at which these cards exist is going to be a 1 to 8. So for every one pink card in the deck, there's going to be 8 white cards. And the pink cards themselves are those prompt cards. can actually be either a question, right? So like you could make a funny question, like a fill in the blank or something like that, or it could actually be a meme card. So you can find a meme that you like, image, and actually mint that as a pink card in game, right? And then you'll have, like I said, that 1 to 8 ratio, where at the back end there will be those white cards that you can choose from as your reply or as your response, and then kind of like Cards Against Humanity, the host for that round is the person who chooses the funniest white card. Um, During our initial mint, we're going to be starting off with a 1 to 1 ratio, like I said, of we're starting with 625 pink cards and then 625 of the pink meme cards, those image cards that are going to be available. And then the white cards will be available in a larger quantity.
Okay, and then in terms like where does the I guess the DAO token and the play to earn token really factor in terms of like utility here then?
Right. So the play to earn token is going to be the most simple version of the gameplay, where anybody who plays this game, whether they have familiarity with crypto or not, can just earn that play to earn token as rewards in game. So as you play, if let's say I'm playing with a bunch of our friends or whatever, and I win rounds, as I do so, I earn play to earn tokens, and then now those can be bridged out into currency of my liking, and I can actually go ahead and cash out if I want, right? And again, that ties back into that um, aspect where we have the Magic Protocol that'll generate a crypto wallet tied to someone's email. So it'll generate a secure, brand new wallet that it can actually hold their play to earn rewards. And if we're playing with a friend and he doesn't know about crypto, he can still earn money. Even if he doesn't know about crypto, he can still earn his rewards. So he's still getting paid out. The DAO token, like I said, is the governance token, which will govern what cards are in the deck, right? So, if someone makes a card that's maybe a little too over the top or maybe a little too far out there, the DAO is actually going to be responsible for voting that card out of the deck. And one of the unique things that we've done is we've actually implemented a way for the metadata in our NFTs to be updated after mint. So what that means is let's say I go ahead and I mint a white card that I thought was funny, but might be a little inappropriate to the rest of the community. The DAO can vote my card out, and the metadata will get updated as like a discarded card. Like I will get rejected literally from the deck. Like, I'll get a notification or something. It'll be like, look, your card did not make it. So now I can go back into the NFT Genesis platform and remint a new card. Basically, like I could try again. So the community will vote me out. They're like, no, you suck. Go ahead and try again. And then I could go back into the governance platform, sorry, the Genesis platform, and go ahead and remint a new joke.
Got it. I'll get back to you. I do have some more questions for you guys, but I do want to get to everyone else, especially since Zoolana is on a 1 hour time frame. So I want to make sure we get questions for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, no, Glyphbound, you guys want to give a rundown of the gameplay and essentially the roadmap. I mean, I think you guys already touched on the gameplay, so yeah, just essentially know where you guys are at, and then know what you guys are going to be building in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'll keep it quick and pass the mic along. Yeah, right now we have essentially we're finishing up polishing of our browser single player demo. We're just going to give it a one final balance pass, and after that, it's pretty much just all hands on deck on the online PvP. So we've already started some of the networking. And yeah, right now we're just community building. We have a couple other NFT collections to keep people busy and entertained in the meantime, using our Discord server bots. We have the weekly giveaways for people that participate. Right now we're also just making like a meme NFT collection for the community, and like the people who make the art and submit the art get their royalties put into the actual NFTs. So yeah, we're just having fun while our developer team actually fleshes out the game. And in terms of a little bit more detail about gameplay, it seems like you're pretty familiar with Final Fantasy Tactics. First of all,
Yeah, for sure. That was one of my favorite games when I was a kid.
yeah, likewise. I think that's one of the major inspirations of this, um, because it combines the strategy and the depth of other games, but it still feels like a role playing game. Your units aren't just like a chess piece; like they feel like individual, um, personalities. And I think that's why the Fire Emblem franchise has taken off a lot when they implemented almost like dating sim like elements, because they just allows people to bond to their characters. And to me, that's just a match made in heaven for monster catching games. Because you have your team and you can have them interact. So yeah, right now we're just trying to give the all the monsters, the kami as we call them, uh, just flavor, personality, a varied amount of skills and animations.
So, I like that you mentioned that part of, really buying your characters. I think one part about Final Fantasy Tactics I really, really enjoyed was the storyline. It was just like so like unpredictable, so awesome. You really bonded with some characters, saw some cool stuff. It was really wild for me. So I'm just curious, is there going to be like, kind of like a storyline, like a lore, like that you guys are building as well?
Uh, yes, although the game itself won't actually have like a main quest. Because when I used to play Pokemon as a kid, I mean, yeah, you have like your main adventure, but it was just about role playing. Like it was you pretending, making your own story, right? And that's making your own team. And for that reason, we actually have multiple starting locations, and instead of having a main quest, it's almost more like RuneScape, where it's just an open world and you can find different quest lines that are available, some of which are pretty major and might unlock like different areas or different, different quest lines and things like that. But you won't necessarily be forced. You'll just be free to just make your own story.
I see. Okay, cool. Yeah, very interested in learning more. And Meta League, can you guys come up? Looks like you guys got rugged down to the down there. I'm trying to invite Meta League up. Let's see if they can get up here.
Yo, hey, sorry, man. My my wife turned off the Wi-Fi, and I was still connected somehow, so that's why I
Oh,
hopped off. Yeah,
she was like, get off the spaces, man. You
yeah. I gotta dip here in about 10 minutes. I got a meeting I gotta do at 11 with a future partner that we'll be announcing maybe today or tomorrow or at some point this week. I think we talked about a little bit 3D Gamer. Just they have to announce it
Yeah.
first. Just
So wait, hold on with that Metal League. You guys want to just go over, kind of like the whole spiel before you have to dip. I'm going to do this with Zoolana as well. Basically, essentially, the team, who you guys are, maybe a little more deeper on the gameplay.
yeah, for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so me, I'm the founder. I played Division I football at the University of Florida. Was drafted and played in the NFL for 4 years. Kind of had a rough career with injuries, bounced around. And my one of my co-founders is Megan. She's actually going to be a doctor. Um, she went to the University of Florida with me. We were in class together, and we've always just kind of stayed in touch. She's really good friends with the guys who create Gutter Cats. Went to her high school, so she's been in the NFT world for a little while. And then there's Mr. T Graham. He's like our community networking manager. He's a really awesome guy. I actually met him in the space. Then we have Nick Schaff. He's Saquon Barkley's best friend. He doesn't have a huge role. He's just a good buddy of mine. He's been heavily involved, and we have 4 or 5 core athletes, professional athletes that anything we need, they're just buddies. So anything we need, they'll be involved. And for me, the big thing for me too is I've been a big crypto guy for over 2 years now, and I think when I tap into I kind of tap into this space of bringing in more, like, so majority of my following is going to be sports fans, organically, like that's just who it's going to be. But I would love to bring something to the table where it's like sports fans are like, oh wow, like it almost taps into a different crowd of people. Who are like, oh wow, this is really interesting, let me check this out. Next thing you know, they're playing a blockchain game on their computer, right? That creates more mass adoption, more people in NFTs and crypto. So it's almost like tapping into a whole new space of people. And we have two artists, two really insanely talented artists. Both of them are in India, Bay and Sid. They're part of the team. Love the guys. It's actually really hard for people to find artists nowadays. I can't even tell you how many people have hit me up about them. I mean, even partners are like low key trying to steal our artists. They're like, "Hey, man, you think they could do this for us?" Like, um, I've always been a pretty good at assessing art. My parents met in art school, so grown up around art and stuff. So um, I randomly followed one of them on Twitter and saw his detailed work, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy is insane. Self-taught artist. I'm like, he would be perfect for this. So I brought him on, and then his buddy was brought Bay on. Then we have two freelance guys that I became really cool with, um, Tommy and Mateo. And yeah, so that's basically the core team. We're building and growing, and trying to build from the ground up and build like a really solid community of people that see the vision and want to make it grow. For me, it's like I want the community to be able to vote on a lot of things and kind of grow the project together. And so a little bit, you want me to dive into the game a little bit. So these factions will be essentially have 9 color combinations for each one, and they'll be based on rarity. So you might mint and you're an alien, but you have one of 9 color combinations that could be a more rare one, a less percent have it. Um, there's gonna be certain traits like captains will have a crow on their shoulder, which is it's pretty sick. A lot of these characters have back. Some of these characters have back pieces like a club or an axe, and eventually we want to incorporate add-ons where you can uh, buy like basically like a ability to swing your club and knock someone's ball out of their hand. Um, there's a whole list of stuff we can go with our developers. It's just that's the fun part about it is uh, it's just gonna be your normal 7-on-7, but with more futuristic cyberpunk style. Um, but obviously, you got your power ups, you got your special moves, and the cool part about it is like the dev team we're working with, they're going to be able to, anything the community thinks is going to be really cool, awesome option. They're going to be able to, we'll be able to somehow work that in. And I don't know if any of you guys have played Madden or 2K or any of those games, but just imagine having your own little virtual locker room real estate you can buy to put all your stuff in from all your other Solana projects and put in your Meta League avatar on your little podium to show it off and bring your buddies in the room. So we got a lot of cool things cooking up, man. It's been a slow build, but I'm just trying to do it the right way. I mean, I've had several. I mean, I'm sure a lot of these projects here, people come after you all the time trying to make a quick buck, and will say, hey, I'll give you a bunch of money for marketing. Like, I mean, a couple $100,000 people will offer you sometimes. And I think when you're trying to build a good project, sometimes you just gotta figure. I mean, it's going to be harder to grow organically, but I think long term growth wise, I think people have more success when they have a good quality community. I'd take quality over quantity.
Yeah, much appreciate you sharing, man. Like, really looking forward to see what you guys can do. Definitely, big brains out here. These guys have come from the top of a competitive sport, and if you're at the top of anything, you can really learn how to do anything because that it takes a lot to be at the top. That's kind of how I learned to start businesses from being at the top of gaming personally. But yeah, just for everyone in this audience, be sure to give all these great projects a follow. Meta League doing like an NFL Blitz type game. If you guys like that type of game, be sure to give them a follow. We got Cliffbound with a Final Fantasy Tactics and Pokemon mix. Be sure to give them a follow. Flip with this more, a fun twist, a very social game. On the blockchain. You can play it in Discord. It's Cards Against Humanity type game. Definitely give them a follow. And then no, Zoolana out here, Clash of Clans, guys. Like, who hasn't played Clash of Clans, man? And just be sure to give these guys a follow. They have a lot of cool team members building them. And then, as always, if you guys like content or gaming, 3D Gamers Guild, now we're here. We play games and we create content out here for you guys. We are completely just game focused. Me and my co-founder, we come from the competitive and pro gaming background. So, we're really here just to bring the crypto gaming space to the world. But, we are looking for those good games first and foremost, because, that's really what's going to bring people to crypto games. But yeah, before the time is up for Zoolana. No, Zoolana. Let's go over. You guys went over your game, and I just want to hear more about your team and your vision, because one thing I always preach out here, guys, is focus on the team, guys. For those who didn't see the Neo Nexus rug, man, just pains my heart to see these teams coming out. People have these great vision, but I know sometimes they don't really have. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe he just rugged us. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate, but yeah, Zulan, you want to go over essentially your team experience and what makes you guys such a great fit for making this great game happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude, the Neo Nexus thing was crazy. That's really nuts, especially because Jack was so. Anyone who was in a Twitter space with Jack knew that he was maybe a little bit off, but also just very passionate. So I don't know. It seems like a classic rug because I don't understand what could have changed between his passion a few months ago. But a little bit about us. My background is in the startup world in New York and some venture capital experience as well. I started my career as a personal assistant to the head of a boutique VC firm in New York. I worked there for a few months before I was moved to be on the founding team of an event logistics startup. So I worked at that event logistics startup for about 2 years, including maybe like 8 months into COVID. I was there through the end of 2020 and then got into crypto full time in 2021. And I'd had some experience with crypto before, some speculation on crypto assets, but wasn't necessarily an expert. But I dived in head first, actually trying to become a trader in 2021, and quickly realized that trading was just boring as all hell to me. So I started volunteering for projects and just getting involved on like the project management and development side of things. And that's actually how I met Didi. So Didi and I met as volunteers on a DeFi project in April of 2021. And we worked there for about 2 months just as volunteers. So we weren't getting paid anything on this project. Totally did it out of a passion for the space and just an interest in learning more. It was about 2 months in that we realized the team we were working on wasn't the most efficient. It wasn't exactly where we wanted to be. So we left ourselves to go do our own thing. And we founded Zoolana this past summer. So Didi and I have been working on it head first, so deep in it since August of this past year. I think our community can vouch for that. They see that they're always around. If you guys pop into Discord and tag us, Didi and I are online, probably more than is healthy for anyone to be. So that's a little bit of background, I guess, for my personal background on how the project came to be. Didi could introduce himself. He's actually here. Sorry about that. But maybe I don't think we have a ton of time. But that's the Jesus Christ, I'm dropping shit. That's the general rundown, I guess, of our team and where we come from. Then, yeah, we've also hired this studio, Magic Media. They're a multinational game conglomerate that has built a number of successful games in the past, and we're incredibly excited to be working together.
Much appreciated for sharing. And just one thing, guys, that I always want to like stress out here is you can bet on great teams, you can bet on great projects, but the funding does matter. One thing about Jack, the reason why I didn't get Neo Nexus is because like this guy was promising everything on every single space, and I was like trying to nail down the technical side of things. I was like, wait, how can you do literally everything? Like, he was promising like some really crazy shit. I was like, I'm not a developer, so maybe I don't know shit. But it just seems like very difficult. I know games cost a lot of money to develop, so I'm just curious on Zulana's side, like Like, how are you guys getting funded? Have you guys raised from VCs? Are you guys launching a mint?
Yeah, so we've done 2 mints so far, and that's given us kind of the initial seed funding. I don't know. We try to stay away from traditional investment terms just because of the gray legality involved with so much going on in NFTs. But we have a treasury at this point from our initial NFT mints, and that's pretty close to finishing out funding for the actual game itself. Of course, we will need to raise more, and we are turning to VCs and possible future mints to be able to do that. I think one thing to keep in mind is definitely the scale of the promise that people are coming to you with when you're hearing them talk about their NFT projects. So, yeah, NeoNexus was coming and promising the world. They were saying that they were going to, like, almost literally, they were saying they were going to build a virtual world where you could do anything you wanted, and like you and all your friends were now going to be living in the NeoNexus, which is like the scale of what that means, and like the amount of reach and the amount of users that they're hoping to onboard with that promise is like that's a very difficult thing to do. It's extremely expensive, and like $5 million isn't going to cut it. Like $50 million isn't going to cut it. Like that type of promise is something that like maybe Facebook can make, and even when they do it, everyone is like, "No, you guys can take a hike." So just understand what's possible in the space when people try to promise you the world. For Zoolana, we have our go-to-market strategy right now is based mostly in targeting specific markets in Southeast Asia and starting small and working up from there. So distribution in Singapore, distribution in Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, choosing 1 or 2 of these places to really get a user base going, using them as beta testers for the game in the sense of specifically tweaking monetization and figuring out precisely how the game can scale appropriately, and then moving up from there and actually just spending the money on user acquisition when we know that users are going to stick around in the game. So that's kind of our distribution strategy. We aren't going to promise you this is going to be the largest mobile game ever made. We aren't going to say that your grandma is going to turn on Zoolana when she wakes up in the morning every day, although we would love that. We're here to make a real product and to make a working game and to have something sustainable. Not something that's gonna change human history.
Yeah, love it. And I think you guys have to go now, but no, much appreciated you guys for being on. Shout out to DD, fellow monkey down here in the crowd. Um, and yeah, really, guys, the way I look at these projects is, see like what they're trying to build. For example, like if someone's trying to build a World of Warcraft on the blockchain and they have like $3 million from their mint or something. Yeah, like that most likely is not going to happen unless they get some crazy VC funding, which is possible. So like it's always good to keep in mind like what are they building? If people are just building like a smaller mobile game and they have $3 million, okay, that's definitely possible, right? And that's the way I've always approached these projects, just to see what is actually possible, see what scale. If you're trying to build like the craziest AAA like Valorant type game, yeah, you better have like $100 million. So yeah, again, just be careful out there, guys. There's so much stuff out there. Keep things in perspective. People are promising the world, but this is real life. We just got to get back down, get our heads down, and like actually think what actually happens in real life. It's easy to fall into the trap.
Exactly. We got to jump now. Thank you so much, Painboy, for hosting us, and thank you to everyone here in the space.
Yeah, thank you for being on. No, shout out to Zoolana. Give a follow, guys. And
awesome. Bye, guys.
Yeah, so let's get back over to Flip game. I was trying to understand the tokenomics, and no, just so for you guys who are just joining, Flip game is a Cards of Humanity type game for the integrating NFTs and some earning potential in there. They have NFTs that you can mint and basically put your like jokes, your memes on these cards, and essentially if people like your jokes or memes, you can make money from them. So it's a really social and really like really bringing out that creativity. They have like a governance token, they have a play to earn token, and you can earn the play the crypto token in game by playing the game. So yeah, back to Flip game. Whenever you like make the game from having a great joke from the NFTs, right? I was trying to figure out what is the utility of that token. Is that token going to be used like back into the game, or Like, what